Hey everybody, it's Karyn Bryant for MMA H.E.A.T. I'm talking with Carla Esparza. Of course, she is the UFC's first ever strawweight champion, and she's headed down to Texas to take on Joanna Jędrzejczyk at UFC 185. And Carla, I don't know if you're a morning person. I really appreciate you doing this before you head off to the airport. Are you packed, or are you one of those people last minute who's like freaking out throwing stuff in?
A little bit of both.
Yeah.
I'm pretty much packed, but I know I got a couple last minute things I got to fit in. So, yeah, I'm pretty
Very
good.
good. Well, the good thing too about, when you're just going someplace like Dallas, most of the things, if you forgot it, you can get it there. You know what I mean? It's not like you have an international fight somewhere.
Yeah, definitely that'd be a lot more interesting.
Absolutely. Well, so first and foremost, yesterday we did a new podcast and we were talking about you and the fight with Joanna, and I was highlighting some clips from the Welcome to the Show press conference. And I'm just curious, what your take on Joanna is. You didn't get to know her because she wasn't on the show, but there's something about her I find really endearing. Like she's a very confident woman and very spunky. I like that about her. I'm just curious how you feel about her.
I've actually never faced somebody who's been so kind of like outwardly like confident, like I'm
Yeah.
gonna beat you, I'm gonna be number
Right.
one. So, it's interesting, and I respect that confidence.
Mhm.
But in the end, you can be confident, you can have a crazy stare down, whatever. But in the end, what matters is what happens in the cage.
Yeah. I feel like though at least she is confident in a respectful way though. She seems to, yes, hey, I'm going to be the champion. That's what's on her mind, but she doesn't ever say anything to negate you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, she's definitely not like trash talking
Yeah.
me as a person, like Carla, you have stupid hair, or something like that. No,
Right.
she's been pretty respectful.
Right. But how do you think this will go? I said yesterday to my friend Pete that it wasn't a question of if she'll get taken down. It's how many times will she get taken down. I feel that that's the truth. I feel like that really people saw that, especially when you fought Rose. That we all knew that you were a great wrestler, but there I felt like you really put it on display. So do you feel that she's similar in style to somebody like Rose, and where you're really going to need to employ those takedowns?
Possibly. She definitely has like a different striking style. Rose
Mhm.
kind of threw more of these crazy karate style
Yeah.
kicks, and I think Joanna more. Actually, with Muay Thai, she seems to let go a little bit more with her
Mhm.
kicks, but with MMA, from what I've seen, she's more of just like, has one of those big rights and
Yeah.
big uppercut that she dropped Gadella with. So, hopefully, as far as takedowns go, hopefully just one, and then one and done. I
One and
hope.
done. Nice. Well, it's going to be exciting. I don't know how you feel, in the wake of the Ronda fight. I believe, and a lot of people believe that your division has more depth. We've seen how quickly Ronda goes through some of her opponents, and while you may still come out victorious, I don't think people are expecting the same kind of speed that you could beat. I mean, you know what I mean. It's just different. I'm curious
No,
how you
yeah,
feel about
14
that.
seconds is pretty hard to beat. She's setting records, so
Right.
I can take that for sure.
Do you feel though that you guys didn't get as much attention since you're just so quickly after that last fight with Ronda?
It's kind of hard because I think just with the show and everything, like I feel like everything's happening so fast that they're not really having the time to promote stuff.
Yeah.
It's literally like you found out about the finals of the show, who was in the finals the day before we weighed in. And,
Yeah.
this basically, like, they don't make us do too much press, too close to a fight. And I found out about this fight, I think, like, about 2 months out,
Yeah.
if that, and it was already time to go into camp.
Right.
So, yeah, I feel like the thing with Ronda is a good thing, though. I think that it's a promotion in itself, just
Hmm.
because, hey, women's MMA is exciting, it's fun to watch, so.
Yeah. It is, but I mean, literally, that fight was ridiculous. Like you literally can't finish your tweet that says, "Hey, cool, Ronda and Kat's up now." Like here we go. It's gonna be awesome. Holy crap, it's over. Like what?
That's like literally what I did. I was like, hey, I'm really excited. It's about to, it's done. Like, oh, it's so hard for me too because Kat's my friend. But
Yeah.
like, how can you not give Ronda props? Because she
Right.
is so amazing. Like,
She really is.
because I know how tough Kat is. So to do that is just, it's amazing. And my mom, like, that was her first fight that she's ever been to, so she was like super excited about it. She's like, oh wait, what happened? She's like, that was just like a little dessert, like a little taste.
Right. It's great. Well, speaking of your mom, I was sitting next to her. Joe Williams brought her over to sit. He's at the press conference. Anybody sitting here? He said no. So he brought this woman over. She was all dressed in pink, and I looked at her face and like, you've got to be Mama Cookie Monster, you know? She's so adorable. And so we sat there together, and it was funny. We're like, you know, chatting in between things at the show.
Oh, my mom says she loves you.
Well, she's adorable. She's adorable. But it was funny because she asked me a couple of questions about, you know, how hard has it been, you know, for me to get where I am. And I feel like she really knows what a tough road you have ahead of you in terms of, you know, all this path that you're on. But she's so proud of you. And I mean, what a doll. That has to feel so good to know that you have somebody like that in your corner.
Yeah, definitely. It's really cool. My mom and my dad as well, they've both been super supportive of me, like, my whole career. And, you know, just regardless of whether, you know, I've had like 10 people watching me fight or now on this huge scale, you know, they know the tough road I've had to get even to where I am right now. Yeah. And, you know, as you know, like I'm sure you had a really rough road to get to where you are. And then now even when you're here, it's still hard, you know? It
is still hard. Well, and for you especially too, it bothers me that you don't have a Reebok deal. I'm sure it probably bothers you more. I feel like across the board, just if any champion should have the deal. You know, it's a tricky thing because you probably don't want to complain about it too much, but at the same time, it's hard not to feel slighted.
Yeah, it's not something that I'm like outwardly going out and you know, complaining about and whining about, you know, but if people ask me, you know, oh, what do you think about this? Oh, that's kind of weird. I'm like, oh, that is kind of weird, but it's definitely not my focus, you know. My focus is, you know, winning fights. Right. But, you know, when, of course, who wouldn't want more opportunities, you know, and I feel like on paper, you know, I've accomplished a lot of things. So, you know, it's all good though. I'm really not too worried about that stuff.
Well, and you know, the whole time on The Ultimate Fighter and when we were doing Tough Talk, you were such the underdog there. So I feel like, you know, it's a position that you're used to, but at the same time, I'm like, can somebody just cut her a break? And for once, they say like, okay, like at what point does she have to stop proving it? That's my question.
You know, I think it's more of a question of like my personality and how I am, and I'm always very like, you know, kind of like soft-spoken when it comes to talking about myself. Even like like, you know, people are like, oh, what do you do? Oh, I fight. You know, it's not like, oh, just so you know, I'm the Invicta champ or I'm the UFC champ and I'm this and that and blah, blah, blah. Like, I've just never been that type of person. I've always been, because my parents are super humble. I've just always been like that. And I think when people mistake kind of my kindness for weakness and that just comes across that way. So, you know, I guess I could start talking trash and being like, I'm the best, I'm the greatest, Joanna, I'm going to knock you out in the first round, you know. And I feel like as MMA fans, people want to see, they either want to see you be that cocky champ, trash talker, they want to see you like all tatted up, head shaved right here with that look, or they want to see you like super bubbly and blonde and cute, and I don't know where I fit in like in all that. So, you know, good things will come and Latin markets opening up, so I'll just be patient.
Well, for sure. Well, that's the thing, too. You know, when you think about that, I know people had asked you that at the press conference about fighting in Mexico and how much you would appreciate that. But, yeah, for real, you know, just on paper, we have a Latina champion. You know what I mean? Like, it seems very obvious to me to you know, hype you up a little bit.
Yeah.
But that's just me.
For sure. Yeah, I think that'll come. I think that all those things will come. They're just starting, I think, to like promote me more in Ecuador. That's where my mom's from. Right. So, you know, I'm starting to see a lot of like more Ecuadorian fans on my fan page and really feeling that support. So it's good. It's coming.
Nice. And do you find a sense that, you know, we talk about athletes as role models sometimes. Have you gotten a sense of young girls now, you know, really recognizing you for what you're doing? Because, you know, even I was having a conversation with somebody, I forget who it was, and we're like, oh, yeah, and she wrestled, and and they were like, wait, she wrestled? Well, yeah, you know, girls do wrestle. I feel like there's still some people who aren't even aware of that. So do you find that that you've, you know, I don't know, seen young girls asking you about wrestling, or that you've, you know, sort of seen a growth in that field for girls? Because when I was growing up, you know, that was not a sport that girls did.
Yeah, I mean, it's getting bigger and bigger, every year. It's pretty huge. I just actually went to one of the California CAF tournaments around here because one of my teammates had a daughter in it.
Yeah.
And, it's huge. There's thousands of girls wrestling in California. Right. And, it's been growing a lot. So for me, it's really cool to see. I think in my whole career, I've noticed, like, a lot of girls just, looking at me as a good role model and, kind of following me and being, super excited about me. I think I'm maybe the type of fighter that maybe girls and parents can follow more in a way because, I'm a little bit more conservative.
Yeah.
In my not that there's anything wrong with, like all these crazy photo shoots. I think they're beautiful and I think they're, they're hot. Like, I love them. I think they're cool. My best friend Felice does them, but I've just never done that. And I think that's something that a lot of parents are like, oh, I don't want my daughter like doing this or that, my 5-year-old. So I think they kind of look at that as like, oh, that's, that's cool. Like she doesn't do all these things. And I don't want to make it sound like I'm putting that stuff down, but I just feel like that maybe be a part of why some parents have looked at me as more of a role model for their daughters.
Well, certainly, and I hear what you're saying. Felice is hot. Like if I had Felice's body, I'd be like all day long. I'd be taking pictures. But I know what you're saying because I have an 8-year-old daughter, and when she sees your stuff, she sees Cookie Monster. She thinks it's adorable. You know what I mean? And she asked. Actually, she was watching. I think she watched when you came on one time and we gave you the cookies. And is she really going to eat those, mommy? And this and that. I mean, it's funny. You are very relatable, and she's doing jiu-jitsu now. And I agree. I feel like you're somebody that I'm totally cool with her watching your stuff, and I don't feel like, what's she going to see if she's flipping through here, which is cool.
Yeah, I see people kind of posting like even like nude photo, like kind of semi-nude photos, and I feel like I have a page and a social media that parents can feel okay about having their kids follow, kind of like that.
Well, and it's interesting too because certainly that's part of the deal. Selling yourself, that's part of marketability. I mean, I joke with Wade all the time. I'm like, just one well-placed nip slip. And, I can get bigger numbers, you know what I mean? And it's crazy that it's that simple, but it kind of is.
Yeah, definitely. It's just kind of like the price you want to pay. And like I said, there's nothing wrong with that kind of stuff. It's just about who you are as a person. And it's not like I think that these photo shoots are bad or this or that. It's just I've always been like super kind of conservative and more reserved. And because I think my mom's like that. So it just kind of like, I don't want to be someone who I'm not.
Yeah.
And I think, obviously I think maybe if I was, doing like like these kind of crazy photo shoots, maybe it might bring me more attention. But, it's just not what I'm about at this moment. I'm not saying I never will do a photo shoot or anything, but.
Right. And now, I know you got to get going and want to wrap it up. But one thing I am curious about your thoughts on, you just fought in December, and I know when the timing of doing the Ultimate Fighter and training, that you've had really not much time as a break. And it's interesting because you fought in December, you're already fighting again, and you maybe didn't have as much recovery time and promotion time, whereas some of the other women in the division, are tweeting like, please, please, please give me a fight. So I'm just curious how you feel about how the strawweights right now are getting the fights and their accessibility, to getting booked for things.
I think it's going well. I think there were so many fighters that fought on one day, and to set them all up for fights, like announce it all in one day would be really hard. And I think they've been kind of trickling it. Like I think most of the girls on the show actually are lined up for fights at this point, other than a couple people who I know have been told about fights, but are just kind of waiting to announce it. So I feel like pretty much everyone's gotten the call. I just feel like a lot of them were hungry to fight right now. Yeah. And I think it's coming. I think it's just a question of being a little bit patient. And for me, I kind of wanted a little bit of a break, but it was a great opportunity to be on a card with Pettis and be on such a big card in Dallas. And I think the fans out there, from what I've seen, are like really awesome and really into it.
Yeah, they are. And who do you like in that main event fight?
Come on. I gotta go for Pettis.
Of course you do. Your coach. Does that excite you at all that you get, you guys get to be together, together as your coach from the show, and I know you had a very positive experience with him, right?
Yeah, definitely. I consider Anthony to be, not only a friend, but like a mentor to me. So, to go through this whole tough experience together and to be, both champs. And actually, he defended his belt. I won my belt a week apart.
Right.
And then to be doing it on the same night. And I know we're both going to defend our belts is going to be awesome.
Nice. He's so good.
Oh, yeah. It's kind of like I heard his coach Duke Griffith say, well, is it this guy's gonna win who's hungry, or is it this guy? Is it Anthony who's making a legacy right now to be one of the greatest fighters of all time?
Yeah.
And I don't feel like Rafael Dos Anjos is the one. I don't think he's the one.
Yeah, it's tough because I feel like the people that he's in front of, that Anthony's in front of, everybody obviously legitimately has a chance. And then you see Anthony start to go to work, you're like, holy crap. You're like, he's just out there playing. You know what I mean? That's the thing. It's that spirit of playfulness and just like inventiveness. You're like, God, he's good.
Yeah, definitely. He just can make it happen anywhere. He's just that good, I think.
He's good. Well, cool. Well, I know you got to get going. I really appreciate this. And, I know you're going to have a great fight. I know Joanna's a tough girl, but I know you're going to put on an exciting fight. Get that fight of the night money, That's always extra. That's extra fun.
Yeah, that's always good.
I know it's hard with Anthony on the card, but, you do what you can.
I'm like, well, maybe we can both get one. Performance of the night.
That's true. That's true. Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Carla. Safe travels to you, and we'll see you on Saturday night.
Thank you. Bye,
Thanks.
Karen. Thank you.
Bye.